In this episode, how to start your strength training at its core. Where do you start? What do you do to make sick fucking gains like Papa Swole?
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Test, testing, test Ickles, test Ickles. Ooh, welcome everyone to episode 655 of the Daily Mother a Swole, the most muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Fuckcast, Pumpcast, and coming off a workout still hyper as fuck cast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What up, bitches, busters, hustlers, and hoes? Welcome everyone to episode 600 and sleazy 5. 600 and sleazy 5 of the daily fucking sleaze. So today we're going to get into talking about starting your strength training. Where do you start? Where the fuck do you begin? And I'm going to swear a fuck ton tonight because I just fucking feel like it. So if you are a little bit on the PG side, well, you can go fuck yourself and go watch some other fucking thing, or you can listen to Papa Swolio say fuckity fuck fuck. I just felt like saying that a lot. I think I got it all in my system, right? Fucking A, fam. Welcome to episode 655. Hide the children, hide the puppies, and hide the kitties. A hoe in here. Ha, what up? What's going on? Clementine's in the house. What's going on, fam? Welcome to 655, live on Instagram, live on Facebook, and of course, you can catch the episodes on YouTube. If anyone fucking watches these things on YouTube, maybe now and again, but most of you are watching live here on Instagram and Facebook, and also catching the podcast. So you can always catch the audio. That's the best place, in my opinion. The best place to catch the Daily Swole is on Facebook Live and or as the podcast, because it's just crisp, clear audio and it's easy to multitask. I highly recommend, if you haven't checked me out on SoundCloud or Apple Podcast or Google, wherever you like your podcast, check it out because Papa Solio is there like a bear. Tonight, got some cool stuff. It looks like Instagram's a little bit glitchy. So if it's glitchy, head on over to Facebook. I'm not going to sit here and fuck around with Instagram. Instagram's always glitchy. So welcome to the new age. Welcome to the devil's taint of social media is live broadcasting on Instagram, the glitchy of the glitch. I think I've watched people's live streams, Instagram glitchy as fuck. I've seen people's live streams on Instagram regularly, and it's always super choppy and shit. So if it's glitchy, I might just kill the Instagram feed. I really don't care because we are laying down the track. So it looks like it's really, 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 really choppy. So I'm going to kill Instagram. If you're on, well, I'll let it run unless you fucking deal with it. But if you're on Instagram, you're watching, come on over to Facebook. It's crystal clear and smooth like a baby's taint. And that sounds weird. It sounds very pedophilia-esque, but it's still the truth. It's still the truth. I'm sure a baby's taint is smooth. I'm not going to dilly-dally on that subject. Let's move on right away. You know, like, I wouldn't know. No personal experience there. I wouldn't know. Episode 655. Let's talk about strength. Let's get into it. So ask your questions. What the fuck was that? Ask some questions. We'll get into some questions and we will bang them out. How to get started with your strength training and what the process is. I've been a lot of new people coming to the community. If it's your first time catching the live cast, if it's your first time catching the Swole, make sure you drop a comment, say first time. Maybe you're a Swole virgin, just say Swole virgin here and welcome, welcome, welcome. So we do this daily. And lately we've been dropping the random times, which I like, and the evening time seems to be extremely popular and extremely active, I guess, because everyone's getting off work. The West Coast in California, people are free. People have more time in the evening, which is great. And, so that's working out. But make sure you turn on your notifications so you get notified when we go live. So I've been getting a lot of new messages from new people, new members of the community coming in, catching my videos, catching my Truth Hurts video, calling everyone fat, my posts on Instagram, a lot of new people into the community, into this little circle we have going on here. and a lot of new people into Swolenormous X as well. So anyone that's a Swolenormous X members, what up? What up, private community members? We have that interview tonight, that interview with Chase tonight at 9 p.m. So make sure you're there in the private Facebook group, Swolenormous X members, BTW, by the way. And a lot of people are asking me about where to start with strength training. So you don't know where to begin. You've been well off the track of strength training for years, decades. Maybe you've never done strength training at all. So where do you start getting back into it? You're aware, most of you are aware that if you're a female and you've had baby or babies, apparently it's the thing nowadays to have like 10 fucking kids because everyone has multiple kids. It's not, one's not enough. You got to have at least 3. But those of you that are having multiple children, just popping them out, or those of you that have one, or those of you that have had no kids, that's kind of a joke, but it's also true. You are finding it hard to lose weight. You're finding hard to lose that baby fat. Gentlemen, you're finding it hard to lose that stomach fat. So we've talked the last few days, weeks, years, we've been talking so much about the elimination diet and eliminating foods that raise hormone levels, cortisol levels, stress hormone levels that can store fat. So if you don't know any of that content, if you're brand new and you're like, I've never heard of the elimination diet, I don't know anything about inflammatory foods, go watch the last few episodes, catch up, get your feet wet, get your dick or your nips wet on the Daily Swole, and so you can kind of catch up with where we're at mental wise, brain wise, but you know that you need to do strength training. You know, you've seen that women aren't going to get huge. If you're a female and you think you're going to get big from weightlifting, you've been fed absolute bullshit information. You've been delusional when you looked in the mirror. You thought you got big, but you didn't get big. You were just pushing the fat further out because you're inflamed and you weren't giving it enough time. Like, you're not going to get huge from lifting weights. We are pretty much aware of that. Of course, if you're eating in excess of calories and you're just bulking, and you're doing fucking powerlifting, then eventually you're going to look like a powerlifter. You know, you're going to build muscle. But if you're eating healthy and you're not overeating calories, you're eating the right foods, anti-inflammatory foods, and you're doing strength training, you're not going to get big. You're going to get lean. You're going to burn fat. Your metabolism is going to increase, all those good things. And you've been asking me how to get started. So men and women alike, this is across the board. Where do you start with strength training? And it's so easy to go into a gym and start with machines. It's so easy to go into a gym and start with, whatever circuit they have, or just start lifting weights. And that is one of the biggest mistakes that people make, is just to go into the gym and start lifting weights, just to go in and just start lifting, just to go in and start training and just doing shit, finding some workout program on bodybuilding.com or going on YouTube and just looking up some random workout program. So first off, a program or training versus exercise. I've done some content on this before, and we'll do some more content, of course, coming up. Training versus exercise. Training is a systematic approach that's progressive, that builds on prior principles and prior adaptations to make sure that you're seeing progress constantly without overtraining. One of the biggest problems from coming back into training and lifting weights after, let's say, you've taken 5 years off, or you've been out of it for 3 years, you've been out of it maybe permanently, you jump in the deep end of the pool. So it's like going into the 6-foot end or the 7-foot end when you've never swam before. You're just jumping in and you're trying not to drown, right? You're trying not to drown. You're just trying to fucking survive. And the problem is you start building the pyramid from the top down rather than the bottom, the ground up. So where's the pyramid the widest? At the bottom. And chances are you're probably widest at the bottom too, right? You probably got a big fat ass or a big stomach and you got a big base, right? But that's fat. What I mean by a wide bottom on the pyramid is creating a proper foundation. A pyramid is not smaller at the bottom, it's wider at the bottom. And why? Because it's more stable. So you have to create stability in your body. You need to create stability. So in order to create stability in the body, you have to do stabilization exercises. You have to activate certain muscles. You have to work on postural alignment. You have to work on activating the muscles that are shut down, doing glute work, doing glute isolation work to fire muscles. So you need to do literally like some cleaning house. What do you do in the spring? What's everyone going to do in March or April once it starts getting nice again and you come out of your hibernation? Those of you that are living in shitty areas of the world where it's cold as fuck all the time, for whatever reason, you just like to suffer for 7 months out of the year. Who here is living in snow, just misery, like fucking for 3/4 of the year, just freezing your ass off? You know it's warmer in other places. You know you can come down to warmer areas of the world. It exists. And you can still stay in the United States. Like it exists. You can enjoy your life a little bit more. Just joking. But a lot of you are living in fucking frigid ass temperatures right now. But it's your choice. It's your choice. Anyway, so where was I? So you're going to do spring training. You're going to do spring training. You're going to do spring cleaning. You're going to clean out you're going to take out the rugs and shit that haven't seen daylight in 6 months. You're going to shake them out. You're going to go through your closet. You're going to clean house. You're going to open up all the windows, right? It's a beautiful spring day. It's a nice, beautiful, brisk 40, like once it hits 45 degrees, you're like, shorts weather. We get to wear t-shirts again. Down here, it's like, I don't wear a t-shirt unless it's 85. So you're going to clean house. You're going to reset and do everything from scratch. You're going to reset. The same thing happens with your body. If you've never worked out before or you haven't worked out in a long time, you need to reset. You need to do it from scratch. You need to set it up from the beginning. So you need to do these stabilization exercises. Now, I'm not going to sit here right now and just go over a list of exercises because you're not going to know what the fuck I'm talking about. You're not going to know what a single leg squat is or a single leg balance reach. And even if you do, you probably aren't doing it properly right now. Okay, because there's certain ways to activate the muscles. But the bottom line, the understanding is you need to hit those stabilizers inside. And the best way to do that is with a solid yoga practice. So rather than sit here, I love activation exercises. I love talking about glute activation and isolation and corrective exercise, especially at the beginning of a program. But talking about that now is going to be kind of like almost talking on deaf ears for a lot of you, because if I explain some of these movements, it doesn't matter. Like you're going to need to see it and do it and practice it. And that's what we do in my private community, Swolenormous X. That's where I have all the tactical and the videos and all the breakdowns. But you can start doing yoga immediately, and you can look up a lot of yoga classes. You can do it at your local gym. You can do it at your local yoga studio. You might have yoga DVDs at home. You might practice on your own already. You might go on YouTube and find some videos. And those of you that are members of Swolenormous X, you might be practicing the weekly yoga classes that we have in X. So those types of approaches, doing any kind of yoga class, is fantastic because those body mobility exercises are going to hit those stabilizers. And the reason why the stabilizers are important is because it's your core. And your core is from your pelvis all the way to your cervical spine. And it's going to activate all those muscles that are dormant, that are sleeping all winter long, essentially. So if you're coming off a long hiatus from strength training, and even if you're struggling with strength training, you're having some injuries, right? If you're having some injuries, or you have some chronic pain in your back or in your shoulders, you need to go back to the basics. You need to go back and clean house. So I see a couple comments coming up. Let's pause for a second. Let's answer a couple questions, but that foundation is important. That foundation starts with mobility and stabilization. And I'm telling you, if you've never practiced yoga, you need to start practicing yoga because it solves a lot of these issues. Eric Dean, missing all the nice weather lately. Yeah, I'm not. It's gorgeous in Florida. Gorgeous. Benjamin Hick, I need to activate my back more. Even doing yoga, I tweaked it underneath my shoulder blades. Probably the opposite, actually. If you tweaked it under your shoulder blades, you're probably just activating muscles and something just kind of probably spasmed just because you're actually underworked. And a lot of times, if your middle, lower traps, your rhomboids, those muscles aren't really used to activating, you might be doing a yoga pose and kind of feel a little tweak. Because those muscles are so underused, then it's very common. It's very common to kind of tweak one of those muscles. Just relax, foam roll, it'll come back. But really those muscles in your middle back and under your shoulder blades, there's nothing there that's overactive, that's too tight. Usually if you feel tightness between your shoulder blades, it's actually muscles that are too weak, that just feel neurally tight because they're being pulled apart too far or too much because of protraction and because of tight chest muscles and anterior deltoids. So a lot of people feel like the middle of their back is really tight and they need a massage between their shoulder blades, when in reality, those muscles are very weak and over lengthened and need to be strengthened. So it's counterintuitive. It just feels tight because they're being pulled apart so much and they're very stiff and immobile. Benjamin, the new shoulder mobility yoga class is a good one. Hell yeah, that's a great class. Absolutely. Oh, 2 Benjamins commented back to back. I got confused. What's going on, fam? So this type of mobility approach and this type of foundation, it might be different than what you're normally used to hearing. Like, oh, well, go lighter. Like usually a strength training program will be, you go lighter, you do 15 reps. And then the next week you do 12 reps. And then the next week you do 10 reps. And then the next week after you do 8 reps, and you come back, you do 12 again, but you use more weights because you're stronger. And then you do 10 reps and then you do 8 and you go back and do it again. You do 15 to 12, to 10, and you just fucking keep on going this cycle. You just do lighter. That's not doing the stabilizers, not hitting stabilizers, not creating balance. So it's not just a matter of lighter and heavier. You need to hit these internal muscles that are stabilizing the joints. You have over 600 muscles in the body. The ones you can see, your biceps brachii, your pectoralis major, there's only a few on the outside that you see. Most of them are deep. Most of them are inside the body that you can't even see. And those are the ones that you get hurt. How many times do you tear your pec? That's rare. Tear your biceps. That's rare. Tear your triceps. That's rare. Tear your deltoid. That's rare. Tear your quad. That's rare. Pull your hamstring. It's a little bit less rare. A lot of people tweak their hamstrings. Tear your glute. Pretty rare. What do you normally hurt? Muscles inside your hip. You can tweak your hamstring. You might, sprain your ankle. You hurt a ligament. You have biceps tendonitis, your shoulder. You have inflammation in the tendon, the connective tissue, not the biceps belly itself. You hurt your rotator cuff, the stabilizers that are deep that you can't really see from the outside. You tweak all these little muscles, the levator scapula, all these muscles, the sternocleidomastoid, all these muscles in your neck are the little tiny muscles. Little tiny muscles are the ones that get tweaked. It feels like, oh, I hurt my shoulder, but it's the deep muscles. And these are the ones that are stabilizing the joint. So you have two different types of muscles. You have muscles that pretty much hold the joint in place and keep the bones aligned. And like, all right, our job is to keep this close to this. And then you have other muscles like the ones on the outside, the big meaty ones, the big stakes that pull them in different directions and move a lot of weight. And what's important to understand is if the tiny ones that are holding everything in place are weak and you keep on working the ones on the outside, eventually there's going to be a crack in the foundation. You're going to have an injury and you're going to tear something. Or you're going to have performance deficits because you're not strengthening your muscles properly. Let's take some questions. Great start to this whole broadcast. I hope you're getting a lot of great content. If it's a little bit choppy still on Instagram, not sure why, but you can always hop over on Facebook at Swolenormous and catch me there. Catch me live. Yule just did yoga gravity. Fuck yeah, yoga gravity rocks. Megan, would you suggest doing yoga directly after lifting weights? Not a huge fan of stretching right after lifting. Just because you build up so much tension in the muscles. What strength training is, and when you're lifting a weight, it's literally building internal tension creating internal tension inside the muscle to overcome an external force. So with all this tension built up in the muscles after a workout, all of a sudden you're just going to go pulling on them and lengthening them. You might be doing more harm than good, or you might not be getting the full length from them. If you're going to do yoga right after, I would recommend foam rolling first, or, and giving some time for your muscles to relax a little bit. So foam rolling right after a workout is great. If you want to do yoga later in the day, yoga later in the day, that's fine. I would just recommend if you're doing a weight training workout, do a little foam rolling and cool down like that before you do your yoga, just so you can get a little bit more out of it. But yeah, you can do it right after. Soon right after. Just a recommendation. You might love it immediately after with no rest. That's fine. But this is my 2 cents. Just my 2 cents. Let's see. Oliver Hallberg. I could finally lift weights without pain once I started pairing yoga with it. 90-day dash, baby. Hell yeah, man. Rock on. Swolenormous X fam represent. Benjamin, tear your rotator cuff. Did twice. That sucks. It just radiates down your arm. Tearing any of those tiny ones really blows. Mike, do you need to take BCAAs? No, you don't. BCAAs is protein. You can eat protein. You don't need to take them. You might like to take them, but that could be psychological. There's no guarantee that you're going to get benefits from them. If you're worried too much about supplements, chances are your nutrition isn't on point. You could probably eat better and see better results by getting whole calories in. Eric Dean, I warm my shoulders up before any workout, even on leg day. Always a good idea, especially doing squats at the bar. Anna Gonzalez, how about hot yoga? I can't. It's way too hot. I've done it twice. I feel like fainting. Yeah, you get used to it, but hot yoga is not required. And hot yoga, a lot of times, like the shit like Bikram, it's just extremely hot. It's just unnecessarily hot. You don't need an extremely hot room. If, what I consider hot yoga is like a warm room, because yoga, that heat, you're building from within. If you're doing yoga properly, you're going to be sweating your ass off because you create and generate that heat. So that's why a lot of yoga classes start with a heavy breathing routine to build that kind of fire, right? Stoke that kind of flame inside the body. So you should be kind of warmed and sweating before you start getting into a yoga practice, but you don't have to do hot yoga. Just going into one of those like fucking 110 degrees, it's not really necessary, but you can do it. It's just, sometimes a little bit excessive. Everything's trying to be extreme, right? Then there's CrossFit, and there's HIIT training, and it's like Spartan race. It's like, well, we had him climb up a mountain. Let's have him climb up a mountain and have Native Americans, South American natives shooting darts at them while they're climbing up the hill. Let's have boulders. Let's have ditches. Let's send rabid alligators just fucking chasing people. Everything has to get more and more extreme. So I don't know, when is it going to be like, they're going to call a new one, it's going to call it nuclear yoga or like sun yoga. And it's going to be 200 fucking degrees, and they're going to pour boiling water on you while you're in your poses. That's like the next extreme yoga. It's so extreme. So, some people swear by it. I enjoy hot yoga. I just enjoy being warm when I do yoga. I don't necessarily want to I've been in yoga classes where it's been like really hard to breathe and just uncomfortable. Well, but that's Bikram yoga. That's like the classic super hot yoga. Bikram is usually hotter than all the other ones, but any normal quality hot yoga studio isn't excessive. It's still hot as fuck, and you still have to get used to it. Let's see. How about why are we talking so much about supplements? Let's try to stay on topic here with the strength training. How about creatine? Everyone says take this. Yeah, everyone always says that. Everyone always wants to take something. Creatine is found in red meat. Creatine can benefit some people. Some people it's not going to benefit quite as much. Everyone has their own resting levels of creatine, especially from food consumption. So some people will benefit more from it. You can try that too. Just drink plenty of water. I don't really think there's that much bloating, but I don't personally take like extra creatine or anything like that anymore. I mean, I eat enough meat and steak and stuff like that. Lever fever. First time live, but love your no-nonsense content. How heavy is heavy enough to see gains? I'm a former distance runner, new to lifting. Oh, skinny fat, distance runner. Welcome to the gain train. How heavy? Well, first off, I would make sure you're doing mobility and functional training and you're doing yoga to start. How heavy is heavy enough to see gains? First off, you're going to see gains after months of training. But generally with strength training, you want to be failing anywhere between 8 to 15 repetitions. You don't need 20 or 30 reps. You also don't need to do powerlifting, but you need to do shorter rest between sets, 30 seconds to maybe a minute and a half. And you want to be failing anywhere between 8 to 15 repetitions, really, hitting your kind of your limit. Skinny fat. Yeah, like marathon runner, right? Soft and creamy. Benjamin Hick started 90-day dash right away and tweaked my back right away. Should I? That's because well, you might have jumped into it a little bit much, but that's why you got to start slow. And the thing is, when you start doing stabilization work and you start doing yoga, it's not uncommon. Just so everyone knows, when you do yoga stuff, when you're doing mobility stuff, it's not just because you want to start there doesn't mean, hey, you're going to, it's 100% safe. There's always a risk. And especially when remember, you're activating muscles that are fucking dormant. You're targeting muscles that have pretty much never worked in their entire life because you've never targeted them. So you have to be careful. And yoga really wakes up the beast sometimes. When I started practicing yoga regularly, I didn't strain, but I kind of like overused and kind of had like a little cramping, tweaked muscle in the middle of my back just because you're doing a lot of rotations and shit that you don't normally do. So should I continue normally on primer week? I would foam roll it and I would rest it. I'm not going to be here live especially, or recommend you to continue training while you have a tweak, but make sure you foam roll, do some light stretching, maybe the mobility in the 90-day dash, do the mobility workout, and just avoid pain. Avoid anything that you will try the gravity class, anything that will avoid any issue in that area, and let it heal up and just let it come back. I'm sure is just something minor. It's common. It's common, especially when you start moving in different planes of motion. Not many people do a lot of rotation in their day or in their training. So when you start doing transverse, horizontal plane rotational movements, that's when the body risks the most injury. So if you're exposing your body to those movements under some kind of like stress and you're trying to strengthen and build that foundation, it's not uncommon to tweak something. But you're not going to get like crushed injury. You're not doing 1,000 box jumps or wall balls or running 10 fucking miles and doing 1,000 snatches or some stupid shit as a beginner. What kind of yoga do you recommend for people with ankylosing spondylitis? I have no fucking idea. You're gonna have to check with your medical professional. I'm not gonna give you any advice for yoga with a medical condition, and I don't even know what the heck that is off the top of my head. So I appreciate you and your trust in my knowledge and my expertise. But even if I Wikipedia and I look it up, I'm still not going to recommend any certain kind. But if you're cleared for exercise, I would start with a beginner level yoga, as long as you're cleared for activity with whatever that is. Like seriously, whatever ankylosing spine, like whatever that is, as long as you're cleared for exercise, and you might have to check with your medical professional for that. Just start with a low entry level yoga. Anyone could do yoga. Anyone can do yoga at any age. There's so many various different levels of yoga. Okay. Got a few more minutes here, fam. So good questions. We'll keep it going. Let's see. 8 to 10 reps should be failure. You don't want to feel comfortable around 6 reps. That's not true. That's not true. Now, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be getting, you have to be fatigued or burnt out at 6. You can do sets, but that's maybe much more advanced, higher volume, much more advanced bodybuilding style. But for someone who's getting into strength training, no, you don't want to be like getting exhausted at 6 reps is going to be too low. 8 to 10 is going to be a little bit on the low side, especially as you're getting started. And that's too low, especially for failure. You're going to be fucking crippled. Always do less. Always do less. Less is more at the beginning. What are your thoughts on behind the neck shoulder press? Is just snap city. Most people should be avoiding it because, if you're doing overhead movements since you're young, your shoulder joint might be more opened and more formed. But because we're all growing up, on computers and video games, we're rounded up and at desks all the time, you usually don't have that range of motion to do any kind of behind the neck shit properly. I would just do mobility work. If there's corrective exercises that call for that, okay, but there's no need for doing behind the neck presses. There's no need for it. Like to develop a physique, you don't need that exercise. It's just high risk without the reward. You don't need it. Can some people do it without injury? Sure, but a lot of people can do things without injury. Doesn't mean it's right for a recommendation. Going to failure isn't the answer to long-term gains. That's also not true. Where are you guys getting this were you guys just throwing random shit out there? Going to failure isn't the answer to long-term gains. You're barking up the wrong freedom. That ain't the right taste. Taste my freedom. Yeah, failure is absolutely the way to make. Look, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say, oh, well, don't go to failure. You want to overtrain. Like, how do you think I got where I am? I'm not the biggest guy in the fucking world. You got to crush yourself. If any of you are looking and saying, oh, I want to get big like you, I pretty much borderline murdered myself for years in the gym. You have to crush yourself to build muscle. You have to push yourself. It's fucking brutal. Now, that being said, you do it every day and every week for months and months and months, something's going to fucking burn out. You're going to psychologically burn out, physically burn out. You can get hurt. You're going to hit your limit. But it's really important to push yourself. Absolutely. We have to build up to that. I don't recommend anyone go to failure in any respect, especially when you're new to lifting weights. You have to earn going to failure, because if you go to failure, any kind of failure, especially when you're just starting off lifting, you can get extremely sore. Extremely sore. Vastus medialis with 4 question marks. Or you're just listing muscles now. Pectoralis major. Biceps. I don't know. What was that comment for? Diet is key, though, I think. Are these... I guess these comments are delayed, like just random thoughts that are popping into your head. Diet is key, though. Nutrition's very important, yeah. In what context? Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Robert, love your podcast. It's awesome to listen to them. And I love the way you're straight up with people. Well, anyway, I joined a gym almost a year ago and have lost 60 pounds and building muscle and feeling good about myself. Never thought I would fall in love with working out. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. I like dogs. Yeah, just that's saying random shit. Instagram has lost it, fam. We're going to pay attention to Facebook now. Instagram is just like everyone with Tourette's, like dogs, biceps, pectoralis major. Just fucking random shit. I'm kidding. Joe Longo at work. So I just wanted to jump in and say, what's up? What up? Can't wait to get some sound nukes after work. Love this crazy knowledge. Fuck yeah. Thank you for checking it out. What's failure reps new to weights? Failure is when you can't do another single repetition. So if you're doing 15 is a last rep you can do if someone had a gun to your head. So physiological failure is brutal. And if you're new to weights, you should not be going to failure. So you're going to be doing what we call sub-max. You're going to be going sub-maximal. You're not going to go to absolute failure. Okay. Hey, missing you at noon. Cool. Well, I'll tell you what, you can still catch me at noon. Just watch this episode tomorrow at noon. Yeah, it's better. Look, there's so many more people watching live. And the great thing about this is it's not like, hey, I'm going live and then it disappears. You can catch it on Facebook indefinitely. Instagram, it lasts for 24 hours. You can catch it on YouTube. You can listen to the podcast. So the time is almost irrelevant. And I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to do it when it's best for me. And that's the way I'm going to roll for a while. It was cool. It was cool at 12 for a long time. And it was to keep me accountable to and consistent. But the quality, I want to do it a certain way. And I want the audio a certain way. And I just wanted to, it's a better quality of life for me. And I'll get more content done. There's other priorities in addition. So it helps me pump out better content for X and do a lot of other stuff. So doesn't mean it'll never be at noon again, but there's the thing. Like I said, I'm going to be starting to do some giveaways, t-shirts, cool shit here. So make sure you turn on post notifications. That reminds me, turn on your post notifications. That way, when I am live, you can tune in. So when we start doing that type of stuff, you're here. So it's like a treat. You have to be ready. You got to be ready. I have to check this video out that just got people triggered over being called fat by the Swole. Yeah. Well, there's a new version of it going around, a new version going around with my ebook. And that is, I think it's got like, 10, 15, whatever, 1,000 views. But the one that was posted back in May of last year, it's got like 5 million views. So total, it's, but I'm not like, I don't care about the number. I care about the quality of people that are coming into this community. So that's cool. I don't even count my reps most of the time. Neither do I. I ballpark it. It's Mike Segro. Do you take any subs? You're fucking so into the supplements, bro. Do I take some supplements? Sometimes I take a pre-workout if I need, it's crap. It's mostly caffeine, but sometimes I need a boost. You can take whatever you choose, but a lot of it's artificial shit and sweeteners. You got to really judge it for yourself. Do I follow a macro plan? No, I don't. I eat a lot of fat. I eat a lot of red meat, high fat diet, high fat, saturated fat. I eat a lot of vegetables and salads and stuff like that as well. Olives, coconut oil, those things. I like turtles. Now we're just doing random shit. How many days a week do you work out? Maybe 5, 6, depends. Need to go to failure. Been working out for over a year now. Work your way up to it. Your body will know when you need. Yeah. You really have to. You really, really, really have to work your way up for being to failure. That has to be the most asked question at the gym. What are you taking? Yeah, as if like creatine, BCAAs, pre-workout, as if any of that gets you fucking results, right? You want to build muscle. Aside from taking like anabolic steroids, if you're not eating properly, that's why I'm harping so much on eating. If you're not eating properly, it doesn't fucking matter if you're taking creatine. You're going to be a skinny little bitch taking creatine if you're not eating right. Okay, if you're trying to get big, some of you want to be a skinny little bitch. Some of y'all bitches out there want to be skinny little bitches. You might be like, hey, I want to be skinny. Right. Guys, you want to be skinny. It doesn't matter. But, the important thing is the supplement. You have to have the foundation first. And a lot of these supplements don't fucking do shit. And some of these supplements might do great with one person. Some people can have caffeine. They don't feel anything. Some people sniff caffeine. They're up all night, right? Sensitivities. Are canned vegetables better than no vegetables? I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on how they're canned. If there's BPA in the cans, if there's a ton of sugar added. I mean, better than no vegetables? Probably. Probably, if we're assuming that the vegetable that you're eating is good. I haven't had a canned vegetable. I don't remember the last time I've had a canned vegetable. I'd rather eat no vegetables than have a canned vegetable. We can have like green beans. Oh, green beans are like the kid on the playground that gets picked last for kickball. Green beans are like the fucking taint of vegetables. Just fucking, there's no purpose. Like green beans can really just fucking disappear from the earth. I don't think anyone would miss them. No one would miss a fucking green bean. No flavor. They look like shit. They have the texture is garbage. Green beans suck. Plus they're legumes, so fuck that shit. I can't take whey protein powder. It bloats me and I hate it. Can I replace powders with real food? That's what you should be doing. So you're in luck. Can I replace it? Rather, you should be eating food and not replacing it with protein. What does it mean working the muscle under tension? Anytime you're lifting weights, the muscle's under tension. You have to create internal tension inside the muscle. That's what a muscle contraction is. To overcome a resistance, your body has to create tension within the muscle to overcome the weight. Canned veggies taste like the can. I wonder. Turmeric? It's a natural herb. Was it like an anti-inflammatory, right? Generally. I eat tons of green beans from a can. Love to cook them down with bacon. Yeah, that sounds gross. I mean, if you're cooking with bacon, of course, you can cook shoe leather with bacon and it'll taste amazing. So awesome episode. Fam, if you're new to the show, make sure you turn on notifications on Instagram and Facebook. Follow me, DM me, comment below if you love the show. Remember, SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, Daily Swole, Swolenormous. You can catch every episode, especially on SoundCloud, and I think pretty much all of them as well on Apple Podcasts. Catch up on all the other dailies. It's fan-fucking-tastic. We're here every single day, so make sure your notifications are on. It's a few minutes before 9 o'clock. I have a live interview in Swolenormous X in the private premium Facebook group right here. So those of you that are Swolenormous X members, we have that interview with Chase in like 2 or 3 minutes. So about to get set up and go live there. So peace, McGee's fam. Deuce Magoose. I'll see you all tomorrow for 6:56. Is it tomorrow? Peace, McGee's. Deuce Magoose. Papa Swolio. Nipple pinch. Out.